Hello and thank you for joining us on the news on NTA International. Ramadan Kareem. You can watch this news on Vision TV 247 and on other social media platforms displayed on your screen. I'm Lami Ali and Precious Osomina is the sign language interpreter. Let's now go for the headlines. Federal government promises to work with the state governments to ensure food security in the nation. Nigeria joins other countries to commemorate 2024 Commonwealth Day with premium on education. And China's annual parliamentary sitting ends with the parliament passing a law granting Communist Party more control over the country's cabinets. There may now be solution in sight to the yet unending clashes between farmers and herders in parts of Nigeria, as President Bola Tinubu says a comprehensive program with potential solutions will be unveiled in the coming weeks. The president raised this hope in Minna as the official flag-off of agri-mechanization revolution for food security and commissioning of the new airport terminal. Details of that report will come to you in our subsequent bulletin. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is optimistic that with perseverance and consistency, Nigeria will get out of the present murky waters unscathed, just as he applauds the aggressive commitments of Niger State Governor Mohammed Umar Bagu to feed the nation. The president was in Minna to inaugurate the upgraded airport terminal and farm machineries, as well as an agro-processing free zone with irrigation equipments. Usaina Musa has the story.
The farm implements that include multipurpose harvesters, planters and tractors were acquired through arrangements with the manufacturers and development partners, while the agro-processing free zone, which sits on 2,000 hectares of land around the airport, is where vegetables, fruits, meat and dairy products will be cultivated. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says the commitment and ability of a leader to do what needs to be done at the right time will in the long run result to a positive yield.
And we feed and use the economic opportunity to mitigate and correct the problem of violence, attacks, cattle rustling and all of that. We are going to organize, give me 2-3 weeks to be part of the inauguration of the livestock change in Nigeria.
For us, agriculture is key to our commitment to addressing the challenges in critical sectors of our economy, and we shall seize every opportunity for the attainment of growth and engender prosperity for the people of our beloved state and by extension our dear country Nigeria.
The state thinking out of the box and committing resources to build their competitive advantages through different economic initiatives, our country will live up to its billing not as just the Jack of Africa, but a major economic powerhouse.
The president's visit is going to leave an indelible mark on the soil of Niger State as it formally heralds agricultural revolution. In Minna, Usaina Musa, NTA News.
Now in other news, Nigeria has joined the global community to mark this year's Commonwealth Day with the theme, One Resilient Common Future, Transforming Our Commonwealth, which appears to touch the peculiar challenges facing the dissemination of education in Nigeria. Professor Tahir Mamman, who is the Minister of Education, emphasized the need for member nations of the Commonwealth to rededicate themselves to the ideals of Commonwealth, which are unity in diversity and shared prosperity, to collectively have the power to shape the future of citizens and provide them the opportunity to thrive and contribute positively to the Commonwealth. The day is commemorated to promote understanding and cooperation, celebrate shared values, history and achievements, and reaffirm the commitments to democracy, human rights and sustainable development across the member states. It represents the rich diversity the member nations share, spanning continents, cultures, and languages.
Transforming our Commonwealth for education entails investing in accessible and equitable educational opportunities, promoting innovation in teaching methods and curriculum design, prioritizing teacher training and support, and encouraging lifelong learning initiatives.
Let us acknowledge the resilience and strength that bind us together, transcending geographical boundaries and cultural differences in the face of challenges and diversity.
We must ensure that we create a national value system that represents who we are.
The Commonwealth consists of 56 member states with combined population of about 2.4 billion people. Now, China's annual parliamentary sitting came to a close this Monday, with the parliament passing a law that grants the Communist Party more control over the country's cabinet, the State Council. Chukunonso Nwabueze reports that the parliament also cancelled for the first time in 30 years the PEME's post-parliament news conference.
The amended State Council Organic Law was passed by 2,883 delegates on Monday, with 8 opposing and 9 abstaining during the closing day of the National People's Congress in Beijing. The move, many observers say, is another sign of consolidation and control by the leadership of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP. This year's economic blueprint, delivered by the Premier Li Qiang at the start of the session, laid out plans to opening up more areas to foreign investment and reducing market access restrictions in sectors such as manufacturing and general services. The week-long National People's Congress, which is usually capped off by the Premier's press conference, however, for the first time in more than 3 decades, witnessed a shift from this long-standing tradition following its cancellation by the parliament. Officials say there was no need for it, given there were other opportunities for journalists to ask questions. But critics say it's an attempt to effectively diminish Premier Li Qiang's profile. Chinese President Xi Jinping and other leaders attended the closing session of the Congress held at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing. Chukunonso Nwabueze, NTA News.
The Swedish flag was this Monday hoisted as the NATO headquarters in the Belgian capital, Brussels, symbolizing the Nordic countries' accession to the military alliance. Again, Chukunonso Nwabueze brings us the details.
The hoisting of Sweden's yellow cross on a blue background flag between that of Spain and Turkey outside NATO headquarters in Brussels sealed the historic expansion in symbolic terms. Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson and NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg addressed a joint press conference during Monday's ascension ceremony. Stoltenberg admitted that he didn't expect to see Finland and Sweden joining during his time as the alliance's Secretary General.
You are joining the strongest and most successful military alliance in history. NATO is stronger with Sweden as a full ally than Sweden as a close partner. So this is a good day for Sweden, a good day for NATO, and a good day for security and stability across Europe.
Sweden is now part of NATO. We are a proud member, together with our closest friends and partners. Unity and solidarity will be Sweden's guiding lights as a NATO member. We will share burdens, responsibilities, and risks with our allies. The security situation in our region has not been this serious since the Second World War.
Stoltenberg further stated that Sweden's accession to the US-led alliance is coming after more than 200 years of neutrality. In the same vein, the NATO flag was hoisted at a military base in the Swedish capital, Stockholm. Sweden became the 32nd member of NATO on 7th March 2024. Chukunonso Nwabueze, NTA News.
Japan has signed an agreement with the World Health Organization to provide funds for critical medical aid to Egyptian hospitals that treat injured people from the Gaza Strip. Japanese ambassador to Cairo, Oka Hiroshi, said that the support estimated at $8 million is to provide critical medical supplies.
I'm going to sign on behalf of the government of Japan the exchange notes with WHO to provide Egyptian hospitals with emergent medical equipment and supplies worth about $8 million to support the crucial efforts made by the Egyptian government and hospitals and people to save the lives of many Palestinians evacuated from Gaza.
Egyptian Minister of International Cooperation Rania Al-Mashat commended the actions of the Japanese government, while Hanan Balki, WHO Regional Director of Eastern Mediterranean, who witnessed the signing ceremony, said that the organization's life-saving efforts are hampered by access restrictions, and she thanked Japan's efforts to help those affected in Gaza. Israel's war on Gaza has taken many hospitals in the Strip out of service. Those that remain open are overcrowded, face electricity cuts, and lack supplies. The WHO has appealed for attacks on health facilities to stop. India has successfully test-fired a domestically developed ballistic missile capable of carrying multiple nuclear warheads for the first time. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said on Monday, in his comments on his social media platform X, that he was proud the launch of the first flight test of indigenously developed Agni-5 missile with multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle technology. Francis Udojo reports.
The MIRV technology enables the AGNI-5 to carry several nuclear warheads at once, so they can split up and hit different targets. Though President Modi did not give further details of the launch, India has previously test-fired multiple AGN-5 missiles developed by the country's Defense Research and Development Organization. Minister of Defense Rajnath Singh said on X that India had joined the select group of nations capable of the missile technology. AGNI, meaning fire in Sanskrit, is the name given to a series of rockets India developed as part of a guided missile development project launched in 1983. India has deepened defense cooperation with Western countries in recent years, including in the Quad alliance with the United States, Japan, and Australia. Francis Dojo, NT News.
Out of Allah's mercy to mankind, He ordained the fasting of the month of Ramadan for worshippers to attain piety. In this special report, religious correspondent Abdullahi Ajia examines the significance of the holy month of Ramadan.
In the consensus and explanations of Islamic scholars, the glorious Quran and Hadith of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, are sufficient on the obligation of the holy month of Ramadan, which they say entails the deliberate abstinence from sexual desires, eating and drinking from dawn to sunset, with the intention to worship Allah, who has promised a special reward for those who fervently fast in the first, second, and last 10 days of the month.
Imam Al-Qurtubi is saying Ramadan is a period of burning sin with righteous deeds. It is a time, a period of submission, devotion, tireless effort to see how you can seek the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all the endeavors, in various aspects of ibadat. It's a school of increasing taqwa.
Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic lunar calendar, with a spiritual package and a turning point for mankind, who is expected to maximize the enormous bounties, mercy and favors of Allah.
And it helps those are in addiction to overcome addiction. Those are in drugs, those are taking smoking. All this one, Ramadan can help. It helps to sharpen somebody's character by being patient. It has also benefit of making somebody to be organized.
Leaders of faith say The holy month of Ramadan also guarantees spiritual elevation in status and an ideal social security of love, true brotherhood, and unity of purpose, which reflect the true teachings of the Islamic religion, with much encouragement for charity and increased acts of worship. Nigerian Muslims will be observing this year's Ramadan with high expectations for improved social, economic, and security well-being, considering the present circumstances in the country, as well as better governance. However, clerics say this Ramadan should provide an opportunity for intense prayer for country and individual leaders. In Abuja, Abdullah Hajia, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International. Time now for a break. We shall return with more reports. Do stay tuned. Thank you for staying tuned. Now, Senate has commenced investigation on how the ways and means amounting to trillions of naira was utilized by agencies of government. Also being investigated is the implementation of the Anchor Borrowers Program executed by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Here is the report. The cumulative amount of the ways and means, including interest, is 30 trillion naira. The money was utilized for emergencies by the federal government and afterwards got approval from the parliament for the spending. The caveat for the approval granted by the 9th Assembly was that the federal government should provide parliament with details of the expenditure. This it allegedly never did. This investigative hearing is a follow-up to that agreement.
To look into these ways and means, and particularly look at how the expenses were done. It is our belief that the totality of the ways and means somehow have contributed to the current economic hardship that we are facing today. And that it is incumbent upon us as representatives of the people to look into these issues, know what items, in fact, let us say we should want to unbundle the expenditures involved in the ways and means and see whether they were judiciously utilized and if there is any way that some monies are still remaining, then the Senate will recover it for the benefit of the Nigerian people.
I want to assure you that we are going to carry out this assignment expeditiously, but without any form of compromise.
The committee, in the course of the investigation, will interface with Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Accountant General of the Federation, the Auditor General, Debt Management Office, relevant ministries, departments and agencies, as well as beneficiaries. Now, a well-motivated soldier is a product of adequate welfare and entitlement to fight insecurity and protect the territorial integrity of the country. This was emphasized during an oversight visit of the House of Representatives Committee on Defense to the Ministry of Defense. National Assembly correspondent Isa Mohammed reports.
Briefing the committee members, Minister of Defense Muhammad Badaru Abubakar says staff welfare, prompt payment of pensions and equipping the security formations with modern armaments are critical for military operations to succeed.
I also want to thank the armed forces for doing really a very good job in the most difficult terrain. What we are facing in Nigeria is a kind of guerrilla war which is really very, very difficult to prosecute. And the armed forces are doing wonderfully well in this regard. And I would like to assure you that we are not sleeping. We are working very, very hard to end this thing.
Honorable Ministers, this committee realizes that coping with the country's military challenges are no doubt an enormous task that require adequate personnel, contemporary, well-equipped, well-trained and highly motivated armed forces. We believe that it will serve as a motivating factor for them in the ongoing fight against insurgency.
Committee members commended Nigeria's military for measures adopted in tackling insurgency and banditry, which have renewed Nigerians' hope of peaceful nation, devoid of fear and uncertainty. Meanwhile, at the headquarters of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, the House Committee on FEMA appraised and evaluated the agency's activities and implementation of the 2023 appropriations side by side with that of 2024.
And I want to reassure you that this committee will collaborate with this agency as much as we can. We'll collaborate with the board of the agency, we'll collaborate with the Senate colleague as well to ensure that we take this country to the next level as far as road infrastructure is concerned.
The agency assured road users of its commitments to ensuring motorable roads across the country. In Abuja, Isa Muhammad, NTA News.
And the Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association NAWA has presented food items worth millions of naira to over 5,000 women within the barracks community. Francis Udojo reports that the gesture is one of the major humanitarian activities of the association in 2024.
It takes a good heart and leadership to remember sacrifices made for humanity, especially when it has to do with putting one's life on the line to defend the cause of a nation in the line of duty. These women are widows of fallen heroes, soldiers and wives of officers of the Nigerian Army working tirelessly to keep the territorial integrity of the nation intact. Now, the symbolic presentation of food items to these women at the Mogadishu Cantonment Headquarters in Abuja by the President Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association, Mrs. Maria Lagbaja, has brought a sigh of relief to the beneficiaries.
All of us know how much bag of rice or half bag costs. For them to be able to reach out to us, we pray for more provision for them.
I'm going to appreciate it with my family. I'm going to use it for my Ramadan.
I'm grateful. This is my first time to collect this, receive this gift from Nigerian Army, and I thank God for the gift.
God bless our children. Whatever any of our desire, may God grant it to her.
Appreciate the NAWA for the support to We the Soldiers' Wife.
The motto of NAWA being tagged as unity and charity, Mrs. Maria Lagbaja said it is a propelling force to reach out even to more, especially orphans, at this period of Lent and Ramadan.
NAWA is known for humanitarian outreach. It is a period of fasting. The Christians are also observing Lent, while Muslims are observing Ramadan season. So yes, NAWA is reaching out to all the families to support them during this season.
The humanitarian action is one of the routine military cooperation activities of the NAWA president. In Abuja, Francis Udojo, NTA News.
The Nigerian Union of Journalists and the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations play an important role in shaping public discourse, promoting transparency and upholding the values of democracy. Now, as the fourth pillars of the estate, they are tasked with the crucial responsibility of disseminating accurate information, fostering dialogue and holding power to account. Haman Jabani reports that these were further cemented as the two bodies meet for a national rebirth.
The relationship between journalists and the public relations professionals is symbiotic, built on the foundation of mutual respect, understanding and collaboration. While journalists strive to uncover the truth and report to the public relations professionals work to ensure that organizations communicate effectively and transparently with their stakeholders. It is in the light of this that the President and Chairman of Council, Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, Ike Nialaku, and some members of the Council were at the National Secretariat of Nigerian Union of Journalists to strengthen the existing relationship as professionals in the sector. In its drive to redefine the principles of leadership, governance and professional service to nation building, the Institute is organizing National Spokesperson Summit and Award, Nigerian Public Relations Week, Rebirth Nigeria, a Diamond Anniversary Celebration, and Nigerian Reputation Fair, all within the year to change the narrative.
There is a country before a profession. And for that matter, it is very important to us to see how we can add value to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, primarily.
President NUJ says NIPR is a body that works together towards attainment of shared goals of promoting ethical standard and professionalism, integrity in the field, and its true partnership that the challenges facing the industry and upholding the high standard of journalism and public relations practice can be achieved.
We must change our mode of thinking, our level of reasoning, and begin to think Nigeria. I believe that Rebirth Nigeria is about thinking Nigeria, doing something differently, creating a new reputation for Nigeria.
The two bodies are on the same page on the need to fight quackery in the industry so as to ensure professionalism. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
Let's now check the weather prospects for Tuesday in Nigeria and other cities of the world. And that's the news at this time on NTA International. We thank you for watching. I'm Lami Ali. Precious Ozoimina has been the sign language interpreter. Do have a good evening.